Welcome to the channel, everybody. So I want y'all to think about this, man. All throughout history, right? All throughout history, anytime a comet was in the sky, it signified great and troubling times. It signified famines, plagues, pestilence, death. Alright? Anytime. I mean, it would get so bad sometimes when these plagues and these comets would come that the people, they would get sick, they would die from plagues, food scarcities. Food would be like scarce, to where as though even in Russia they was chopping, in Lithuania they was chopping people up and eating them, and they were basically cannibals, as you can see in the pictures here. This is history. This is what people was doing when these comets would come to Earth, because they would take away the food, they would put pestilence and plagues in the earth, and it would destroy everything, leaving the people to have to eat one another. Literally. I mean, this ain't no joke. Alright? This is all throughout history, folks. To where as though the food got so scarce that people was literally eating each other. Alright? Now, I don't know if y'all heard the news lately about what's going on with the food shortages all around the world. Not just America. Alright, and it's not just from COVID-19. It's many reasons. Solar minimum. But I believe the biggest reason is biblical. It's biblical. So hit that like button. Share this out to as many people as you can. It's very important that everybody sees this, alright? I love y'all. Be safe and stay woke.
Time evolves and comes to a place where it renews again. There is first a purification time, then there is renewal time. We are getting very close to this time now. We were told that we would see America come and go. Everything is coming to a time where prophecy and man's inability to live on earth in a spiritual way will come to a crossroad of great problems. It's the Hopi belief, it's our belief that if you're not spiritually connected to the earth and understand the spiritual reality of how to live on earth, it's likely you will not make it.
I would like to share with you a few prophecies of the Hopis and others about this land, given by the white-bearded, blue-eyed god prior to his promised return. They were told by the white god, known to them as the Masao, that the time would come when the white man would come upon the land and would force them onto small parcels of land and lord over them, that they would lose many of their rights and they would take away many of their customs, and that they would seek to take away their traditions. But he told them the white man would also bring a lot of good things with him. He would bring technology that would allow them to bring running water right into their huts. That was a miracle to the Hopis, because they live on the top of 3 600-foot mesas. The only source of water is a stream that runs along the valley floor below, a tedious and exhausting job. But he told them never to become too reliant upon it, because the day would come when the water would become filthy and would not be drinkable. He told them they would develop a system of power that would make it so they could touch the side of their hut and it would light up. He also warned them about this, saying the world would be shaken 3 times before he came, twice with 1 hand, and the 3rd time with 2 hands. In the 3rd shaking, the power would be taken away, so not to become too reliant upon it. They were told the shakings would be serious conflicts of war and hardship. Because of this, 20% of Hopis refuse to have electricity or running water, fearing dependence on what will be taken from them. Others feel it is okay to use it, but to be prepared when it is lost. The Mosau continued to prophesy that the last shaking would be much more severe, but that they could avoid it if the people would turn back to God and live the commandments he had given them. It did not have to happen. He gave them prophecies about the first shaking that would take place close to that time, so they would be able to recognize it was about to take place. They would see carriages spinning along the ground, and later they would connect them together, and they would go down a line of metal, and smoke would come out of the top of them. This, of course, was the arrival of the train, or the locomotive steam engine. He told them they would see carriages that were pulled by animals, and they would notice they would no longer need animals to pull them, but they would move by themselves. This was clearly the automobile. Then he told them they would see the carriages begin to lift off the ground and begin to fly, leaving a trail of dust in the sky. Obviously a description of the airplane. And all of these things were invented shortly before the First World War, which they believe was the first great shaking. Then he told them they would see a black ribbon that would start to cross the continent, all the way back and forth, and that little bugs would go back and forth on this black ribbon. They saw this also come as our highway system, as they witnessed it from a distance, with the automobiles driving back and forth on it, and the rounded, buggish shapes of our automobiles in the 50s and 60s. Before the second shaking, they would see a people rise up in power that would be led by a sign or symbol that he drew on a rock. Those who have seen this sign say it is the swastika that Hitler used in Germany. They would also join with the people of the rising sun and bring about the second great shaking. The Japanese are recognized by the rising sun. And he told them the second great shaking would end by having a gourd of ashes being dropped from the sky, and that where it had landed, nothing would grow for some time. We all know about the nuclear bomb dropped on Japan that ended the Second World War. As you can see, all of these prophecies have already taken place.
Please hit that like button. Share this out to as many people as possible. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. As always, we are all slaves to society. Stay woke, brothers and sisters. I'm out. Peace.